Merry Christmas! It's Christmas, everybody. Christmas! You know what that means, right? Christmas time means that it's time for...
Presents?
No!
Bringing joy to others?
No!
The birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
No!
Bringing to justice those who have done atrocious things to a lot of people in the world and deserve to not be president and be in prison?
No! It's time for horror movies!
What?
My first question about this movie is why it even came out in December. This is obviously a ploy so that it can sell more toys, but it is such a stupid era to release a movie that's supposed to be about killing children. And I've seen this be something more common in recent Christmases, where instead of oh, let's do a Christmas movie, let's do this, or something that's I guess lighthearted and joyful. Yeah, no, screw that. Horror movie. This person dies. Just a lot of killing, you know? And I think that comes from the idea of people being tired of Christmas as a capitalist holiday. Because, well, you don't need to make it a capitalist holiday. You could always just, be nice to people or whatever. The meaning isn't whatever you want. The market doesn't control you. They push you, but you don't need to be pushed. Anyways, back to the movie. I want to say the good things first. The actors, they seem like they had a great time. They're doing the best they can. The production team, top notch. Great job on the costume designs. Great job on the animatronics. Really love the design. Now, everybody else, anybody who was overseeing the script, the direction, all of this, I need you to be fired. What is this movie? There is no story. There is nothing. I cannot believe that the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which was bad, this one's even worse. I don't know how you could even achieve that. And it all derails into nonsensical characters, things that just don't make sense, even less sense than from the first movie. And there's no story. You kind of just see things happen. And to make a long video short, this is the type of movie you would see an iPad kid saying this is cinema, absolute cinema. Just things happen on screen, flashy things, colorful things, but there's no substance to anything. There's no tension. There's no real reason or fear or interest in what's going on. It's just more references one after the other for no reason. Oh, you want this character? Bam, there you have it. Why is he here? 'Cause he can. You want this character? Bam. You want this line? Bam. Come on, man. There has to be a point in time where you have to look at it and think to yourself, hey, we're supposed to be making a movie. At least let's make a story out of this. The first one, sure, you want to play it safe. You want to make sure people like it. The second one, you could at least push the envelope a little and be like, I could take these liberties and it can still work. But no. You know what they did? They decided it's a great idea to just not do anything. And it made money. First things first. Vanessa in this movie is just horrendous. All of it. Nothing of her character makes sense. Nothing has any weight. Everything just happens and she just kind of goes through it because the script requires her to go through certain things. And before because I forgot to add it, spoilers ahead. The biggest issue with Vanessa's character in this movie, spoilers, you've been warned. If you haven't seen the movie, well, what can I tell you? Don't watch it. Vanessa's character goes through PTSD from being stabbed by her father and, just overall thinking that her dad is still out there trying to stab her. She has PTSD. And so you see this for the total of one scene. Whole movie, just one time, it just comes to fruition. They spend a lot of the introduction heavy on her needing to move on, and you'd think that that's gonna be something that's gonna progress throughout the movie. No. she goes from being in a cycling class to almost killing a random guy because she thought it was her dad. Which, again, why would you pull your gun out midday knowing your dad is not there? Like, you know, in your head, it's in your head because she recognizes it's in her head. So she just pulls out the gun automatically, and I get a PTSD. So I can let it slide through there, but she then puts the gun back, goes to Mike, and then Mike tells her to do the bullshit dream sequences. They make no sense. They are the worst part of both of these movies. Because in Mike's scenario, Mike is trying to find information on who was the killer, this and that, blah, 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 whatever. And to me, it's fake because your brain cannot make information real that you've never acquired. You're probably gonna end up putting a face of somebody that's not the person you're looking for onto that, you know, the person you're looking for. It's like saying, so Mike's just gonna end up putting, let's say, Dwayne Johnson in the driver's seat while his brother's getting kidnapped, instead of, you know, the person who kidnapped his brother, because his brain doesn't have that information. And so her dream makes sense in the way that, okay, this isn't mostly about really trying to relive a memory. It's more about trying to go into one's self-conscious, their psyche, and sort of face your own demons. That's a good way to make the dream sequences be better. Why does it suck? Here's the problem, and I don't think I'm gonna use the movie. I'm just gonna use whatever's in the trailers. But she goes into her father's house, then she walks down the hall scared, looks Matthew Lillard in the face and tells him, "I'm not scared of you." And then Stu from Scream decides, "Hey, you're not scared of me? Okay," so he just starts walking. She starts trembling, tries to run away from her dream. Like, she's in her own head. She's doing her best Dream Warriors impression, but she can't even fathom that she physically knows it's a dream. She intentionally went into this knowing it's a dream. That's where it like messes up with the whole sequence of this. She's willingly here. She knows what she's doing. She walks in. She goes, "I'm not afraid," and then just crumples up and cries the first moment that he shows any sign of aggression. Now what happens? Why is it even stupider? She goes to the door, then decides to run away again, but run upstairs again. She just went downstairs, goes upstairs again, becomes a child, because she becomes her child for some reason, hides in a closet. The baby animatronic's there for some reason, just in the closet waiting there. And then she gets out, she gets seen by Shaggy, and then she finally remembers, wait, I'm a cop, let me shoot him, and shoots him. None of that made sense. None of this is overcoming her mental trauma, her traumatic experience, her father's grasp on her. No, none of it. Because all she did was go in, cry, and then shoot him. You could have skipped the cry part and shot him. Like, you could have had a bit of struggle. You could have had a bit of, like, trying to let go. Maybe seeing the friends that you let die, or the other kids, or some guilt, something. No. That's too smart for the movie. Movie gotta be quick. Movie gotta be dumb. Cop shoot. Look at scene cool. You will quote this. You movies just bad. Just like written bad, done bad. And my problem is, like, when people go to watch it and enjoy it, because the issue isn't that you can enjoy this or not. You can enjoy whatever the hell you want. The problem is, this has become a standard. Like, a lot of these movies are doing the same thing over and over and over again, and people consume it like, this is great, I love this, I saw this in this, so I love it here too. When did the movie business become McDonald's? Like, this is fast food entertainment. Like, okay, Vanessa after that becomes even worse because, reminder, During the whole first movie, a lot of the issues happen because she doesn't tell Mike the truth. And then in the second movie, she still doesn't tell him the truth, which leads into a lot of the problems that happen in the movie. She's like the biggest problem in this movie. Like there's so much wrong with her in all of it. And I don't know how you could fix her because you already did what you did. I feel like instead of making because Mike and Vanessa are trying to have a romance here, you know? And instead of trying to make that Vanessa is not really open to letting anyone in that close, she's really open to letting somebody in that close, but doesn't really do it. While Mike is the one who's being showcased to be closed off, when in reality, from the first movie to the second movie, he is much more open, you know? He's much more there. Like his brain finally woke up. He's not sleeping anymore. Which is all he did in the first movie, just sleep. And it's so bad. It's just bad. It's poor. It's piss poor. It's very bad. And so there's no real way that I could look at her and be like, she did this right, because none of what she does is right. Things just happen, flashes, sounds, action, but none of it has any context to it. Things just happen. Why do they go to the animatronic in the second movie? The second location, the original location. Why do they go there? Because Mike's little sister decided to go there because she picked up a Fazbear teleprompter writer, whatever, that was from the first movie, from the second location, and that one is possessed by Charlotte, who is possessing the puppet. I don't remember the animatronic's name. The mime guy, the mime gal, and somehow she has connection to this location, to this internet service, and faxes her the location. She gets there, no issue, through bike in the middle of the night. Nobody stopped her, no cop even looked at her, and okay, that can happen, kids disappear all the time. But she gets there, she goes in there, sees Chica, Chica's different, and she just acts like this is the Chica I knew. And I feel like she's supposed to be 11 and she's supposed to be smart, and she doesn't really act like she knows how to identify a person as a person, because she doesn't really ask Chica any questions. She just sees Chica, and Chica just kind of acts normal. And so Charlotte just gets what she wants, which is to be free to roam the town. Because she goes there, leaves, and then Vanessa decides to go there because she gets information from Mike that she kind of was around that new location, and Vanessa decides to go there alone, not telling anybody, just goes there alone to face her demons, to face Charlotte, who's her best friend now, and walks in there, automatically gets captured, because obviously she gets captured. There's a cool jump scare. That's the only thing that's nice in these movies. The jump scares that they did in this one, they were nice. Very reminiscent to the games and very well shot. I like the design. Again, the production team really went above and beyond, because the design for the puppet and Charlotte herself was great, because her arms and legs just not functioning, and the way that she crawls around, really enjoyed the set piece and all of it. But again, to the story, she does nothing. She just gets captured, and automatically the information gets out, and yeah, Charlotte locks her like a high school bully inside of a locker, because that's a great idea. She didn't want to kill her. She knew that she was probably going to try and stop her, but I guess don't kill her. There's no reason to kill her. Plot convenience, I guess. It's not that she escaped, no. And so while all of this is happening and Vanessa's having all of her issues, because Vanessa just sucks. And I'll finish Vanessa's thing when I talk about the ending. because everything about Vanessa is just stupid. Mike's little sister is also stupid. She misses her friends, but in the first movie, you know, the friends were trying to take her over, trying to literally take her body, soul, trying to take an additional soul. They were trying to kill, you know, and wouldn't you think that, you know, she'd have a little bit of trauma from the place? But no, she misses her friends because she can't make friends. And so she adopts a little red-haired boy, and that's kind of becoming her friend for some reason. And it's very weirdly placed because he's there, but I don't know the importance of him. He's just kind of there for 2 scenes and then nothing else. And she just really misses her friends, which is weird because in the first movie, her friends made a deal with Mike to trade her soul for Mike's little brothers. And they were like, hey, come on. One or the other. And so, she doesn't know this. So I get it. She misses them. But she just kind of just feels off. Like she feels too ignorant for the movie. Because it's for the sake of the movie to function, she has to be ignorant. She has to look past everything. She has to look past the fact that these animatronics were trying to kill her, that somebody did try to kill Mike, and that all of it. Which, speaking about the animatronics trying to kill, why the hell inside the universe is there a thing called Fast Fest, and why does it exist now? Because it makes no sense inside of the universe. Because these animatronics haven't been in like media for decades, I believe, like at least 10 years, 5 years, like 20. They're related to a lot of murders. They aren't really like in function right now. It's like saying Chuck E. Cheese closes down forever. They found like 10 bodies locked up, and one of the animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese bit one, and so all of them closed down. And you're telling me that kids who never went to this location have gravitated towards this and was like, yeah, let's do a festival of these characters who are related to murder. Like, what's that? A festival for Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, no. Movie's bad. And so Charlotte's just very ignorant, and she's like getting bullied by a teacher, and everybody's glad the teacher dies in this. But man, is it so obviously stupid, because the teacher's just looking at her and being like, you know, what you're doing is not really up to snuff, and he cares about winning the competition. And the problem is that you look at what she was doing originally, and you would think to yourself, okay, I get it, it's not really there yet, so I guess he wants to win. But in the second version that she does, which Chica helps her do, which also makes no reason to me, because you're telling me that because Charlotte is possessing each one of the animatronics, right? Because Charlotte is an animatronic, because this is a child, remember? She now knows robotics, because she has possession of an animatronic. That's blows my mind, like insane. And you see the second version, and even as a teacher, you would think to yourself, man, this one looks of different quality. Like, could you test it out for a second? And no, that doesn't even let her try, doesn't care. And I get it, he's supposed to be like a terrible person, but like that's not even how you were looking at it, because it's not even trying to point it from the perspective that he doesn't like her because he doesn't like her. No, he wants to win, and he literally breaks it up, because I'm assuming he doesn't really express this, but he could have most likely thought like, okay, you bought this, you did this, or you paid this, like we're gonna get like kicked out or something. No, it's focused on the perspective that he hates her, and that just makes no sense. And so Chica kills him, Charlotte kills him, big deal, okay. all the kills are off screen. They all suck. None of them are memorable. None of them are done in silhouette. None of them are implied. None of them are creative at all. They all suck. And so we get to Mike, because there's basically only 3 characters in this film. None of them have a story. We get to Mike, and Mike really doesn't change anything. He's just him. He's a little better. He's a little more awake. So good. That's all I gotta say on him. So as the story progresses, because there is none, but as they go through the motions, Mike gets to the house of who built the animatronics with William Afton, and who is the father of Charlotte as well. He gets to the house. Guy tells him, he gets so involved in your creations that you forget to look what's really important. And my daughter got killed. He got killed, man. And Mike's just there like, yeah, what's this? And as Mike finally realizes that Charlotte is possessing in that new location where the boats are, Mike decides, I gotta go over there. Like, that has to be where my little sister was, because that's what she was drawing. Because remember, her drawings haven't progressed either. They're still the same, like, 8-year-old drawings that she was doing. They haven't changed a little, and she draws a lot, and it's wild, because you would think that a little bit different, like a little, you would see the progression of age and character with the items that they do. But anyways, I digress. And so this guy gives Mike a music box, because the puppet falls asleep when you play the music from the music box. And so the way that the puppet is freed is because, guess what? Michael Afton exists in this movie. He kind of just exists. He doesn't do anything. He exists in this movie, got a few ghost hunters into the FNAF location so that they could, like, study the haunted location. And his point was to get this girl to roam free, because he doesn't care, to roam free, to break the music box or turn it off, because he didn't break it. She turned it off. Which means that all that needed to be done was to, like, turn it on, but I know that, like, afterwards Charlotte probably destroyed it. And so what happens is that this girl gets possessed by Charlotte. She dies, but she gets possessed. And everybody else there dies as well. And so Michael Afton, for some reason, manages to escape, and then throws a line that feels like it was more akin to a superhero B movie, where he just goes like, "Welcome back, Charlotte," and I'm supposed to clap in the movie theater. Like, I'm supposed to be shouting for it, like, "Oh my god, this is so hype." What the hell's going on? What are we doing here? And he disappears for the rest of the movie until the ending. That's what's funny about this. He disappears for the whole movie. He's there for that one scene. All of that happens. He seems to be the one trying to pull the strings. And although they imply it, you don't care, because you don't see him do anything. This twink can't do anything. And so Charlotte escapes after getting the information out of Vanessa, who gets captured. And Vanessa gets locked in gets to relive her best high school days, gets locked into a locker room. And it isn't until back to Mike, who has a music box in the car, goes into the establishment, just starts going around looking for his sister. I forgot it. And he's just going around. He hears a banging on a door, opens it up. It's Vanessa. Unties her. Almost no information gets told. Just that, you gotta trust me. Charlotte's loose, this and that. The animatronics are out there somewhere, and they're with your sister. And he's like, why the hell did you let this happen? Valid question. Answer number A, B, or C? D, none of the above. She just kind of let it happen. Vanessa goes into this place before anybody else does. Like, before Mike's sister comes back. Before Mike even gets there. And instead of really gauging her options, instead of thinking, hey, maybe I should go tell Mike doesn't want to listen, I gotta tell, look, your sister's in danger, we gotta talk about this. this is happening, there was another location, there's this and that. Like, there's a point of communication and ignorance between all of the characters that just symbolizes that there's no growth between these characters, but specifically Vanessa. Because Mike's character is kind of a little trying to be a little bit better with his sister and trying to be a little more vigilant with certain things. But, oh well. And so, we get to the end of the movie because I'm just gonna skim over everything. Because, look, the worst part of that climax is seeing that, because there's a few funny jokes, I'll give you that. But the worst part of the climax is Mike is sitting in the chair. You have the animatronics that come to him almost one by one. And instead of them actually being a threat and being able to attack him, they're like they're not even 5 feet away. Like, look, my wingspan isn't that big, but I could reach Mike from where the animatronics were standing, and these are like 10 feet tall animatronics. You're telling me they couldn't reach him at the distance they were? He puts the mask on, perfect. But what about Fotsy? Fotsy at the end, doesn't matter. He goes to like hook him, and it looks fast. Wow, this guy's stumbling on a computer when all he needed to do was like scroll all the way down and disconnect them, because knowing the locations meant nothing. And I mean literally nothing. He told Vanessa one of them, he told Vanessa the other one, and then like the first thing he should have done was, hey, let's disconnect them and we'll just find them. Somebody's bound to like find them, right? And it should show up even on eBay. No, and so he's like stumbling on a mouse trying to like get to something, and that's the most intense it gets. None of these animatronics even get to him, like really get to him. The only one I can excuse is like Freddy, because Freddy wanted to grab him, and so he was right there right before he puts the mask on, and it kind of disengages him. But Fotsy, it doesn't work, and he's about to get hooked, and nope, he just clicks it. It worked, and he leaves, and then it didn't work, because guess what? They get reconnected for some reason. Like, this is some omnipotent Wi-Fi we got here. And so we get to the ending sequence where you have Charlotte possessed Mike's sister. So Mike's sister now looks like the blueberry girl from Willy Wonka after she gets squeezed out. She's like really lengthy. And you have the four animatronics, Pull Apart Fotsy, Toy Chica, you got all of them. And so they're all there, and then Michael Afton walks in and he goes like, it was me all along. Like, how could it be you all along? We've seen Charlotte do everything. The only thing you did was let Charlotte go, and for some reason Charlotte's listening to you. Which makes no sense, because Charlotte, when Michael walks in, Charlotte is showcased as like the person controlling the animatronics, like Chica, Freddy, all of them. She's controlling. And as she gets pulled out of Mike's sister, which also makes no sense because we're shown that the person who got possessed by the puppet died, and we have to assume, because there's no time period, we don't know how much time between her dying and Michael Afton just leaving everything open to Mike's sister going in there. We don't know the time that passes, but we're showcased that the person died, and this is machinery just going into, like, goes in through your mouth for some reason, and she like pukes it out basically, and that works. But more than just puking it out, she would be at least knocked out. Like the sheer like internal bleeding from metal coming out of your esophagus would kill you, you know? But okay. And the way they get Charlotte out, because remember, Mike had a music box, so he puts the music box down, plays it. Oh no, works, happy ending, great. Until you realize Mike closed the music box right after he gets his little sister. this is what I mean. This is what I mean. The plot just needs ignorance to work. Makes no sense. And so the puppet Charlotte is over somewhere asleep, and Michael walks in with the animatronics. Now he goes like, "Yeah, I've been calling this shots here. Bozo, it was Rick's from the start, Jimbo." And so he goes and tells them, "All right, Freddy, kill everybody." And in pure sheer will of debauchery, of memes, Mike had went to the first movie's location of FNAF and called out for her sister's friends, the other animatronics who tried to kill him, to help her out. She needs them. And they literally do the meme. Like, I'm telling you, Freddy appears, kills the other Freddy. Chica appears, kills the other Chica. They all appear, and it's like this point of like going to the cinema to just hear people shout for things that are stupid, because it literally is the embodiment of the meme of I'm Freddy, I'll go through the front, Bonnie, you take the left, Chica, you take the right, and Foxy, you just be Foxy. It is so bad. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand the point. It's said that if these guys come out, like, their batteries will deplete instantly. They're next door to the original, the first movie's location. No, they had to walk here a lot, and then they finally get there, kill them, and then their battery depletes. Which, again, plot convenience. Like, it's very convenient. And above all of that, it's such a stupid way. It's literally like, how do we get the fans to just scream for this? It's not good. It's just fan service. And that's the worst part. This movie is even less of a movie and just more fan service. And the first movie was just fan service. This is like to the extreme, you know? And again, Michael Afton does nothing, walks outside, gets T-boned by a black guy. I forget his name as well. He does nothing in the film. He's there for like 3 scenes. And he like does a few great jokes because he's funny. Like, just stiff arms Michael. Michael gets knocked out. And now Vanessa is gonna leave with Mike, the security guard, and his sister. And Mike turns to her and goes like, "No, I don't trust you. Like, you've lied to me. You've kept secrets. My family was in danger again because of you. I want you to stay away from us." That's some character development. That is a smidge of a real character, you know? He learned. And so Vanessa just kind of stands in the door, which leads to the puppet, Charlotte, to wake up again and take possession of her, and the movie ends. That's the ending of the movie. Nothing happens because, okay. Nothing happens in the movie. Like, when I tell you that things happen, is that literally scenes happen almost independently one from another. There's no story, there's no overarching progress. We're not focused on Vanessa trying to overcome the trauma and the generational issues that she had with her father. No, it's not that the plot line. It's not Mike trying to rebuild like what little family he has left. No, it's not that. It's not from the aunt's perspective, who is still alive somehow, which means that Golden Freddy was an apparition and just scared her almost to death, and she's insane now. No, it's not that. It's not from the sister's perspective of trying to reintegrate herself into society and not being able to because her friends aren't really like her friends or what she classifies as friends. No, we're not shown any of this. There's no real give or take. Things happen. Nothing would have happened. Like, the animatronics wouldn't have gotten out or even been close to getting out if it wasn't because Michael Afton decided to call up the ghost inspectors, whatever, the Scooby-Doo gang, so that they could walk in, get killed, which, by the way, again, I know these are kids and whatnot, but it makes no sense showing that in the first location, that because you see them like one of their episodes, they're all together in this asylum, abandoned asylum, and immediately as they walk into the Fazbear's Pizzeria, they split up. Conveniently, they split up. One of them falls into like this still water, nasty ass sewage that there is for a boat ride. First thing I don't care what you tell me, is get out of that water. That has to be rancid. Like that is not water that's being like filtered. That's just there. It's rancid. And he doesn't get out. He tries walking through this. And again, also makes no sense why he split up and went down this tunnel instead of telling, hey guys, look, this area looks interesting. Let's go through here, get some shots here, then go back. Or hey, let's all stick together. Let's go here. She decides to stay, like the main protagonist decides to stay back and listen to, like, look at Chica, look at the animatronics up close, separates. So that the cameraman, the other cameraman, goes off alone with Michael. It's very convenient. And so nothing really has any weight to the characters, because the story of what happens with these characters doesn't mean anything in the overarching story of what's going on. How does this have to do with Michael Afton or nothing? How does this have to do with Mike's story, with the lives of these people? Nothing. And that's what we've come to expect from movies. Nothing. I remember one of my friends was, when they got out of the movie, they said like, oh yeah, fun or whatever, and they joke around, it's peak, blah. But generally, it's very worrisome that this is where the film industry is pushing for a lot, because you're not just looking at a movie because you want to spend the time, you want to skip a few hours and have a dopamine rush. It's basically just trying to push you to become this consumerist of not having any type of critical thinking, not being able to say no to things that are not really worthwhile, you know? Because I understand that people want to see video games as movies, and that also makes no sense to me, because the people who want to see video games as movies tend to be people who play the video game. So you're playing the story in a different format, and that's the same as the debate of, oh, do you read the book or did you watch the movie? There's a different medium to it, and I get it. You want to see it in a different medium, you want to see more of your favorite IP, but there's a point where a line needs to be drawn. Because movies are not just something that should be there to spend the time. Movies are supposed to be an art format that are supposed to push an envelope or a message or a story. They're supposed to connect with you. They're supposed to do more than just look at flashy things happening on a screen. Like, the best of all films tend to be these films that make people believe in something, question something, think that there's more to life. Think that there's more to life than just what you can see on the news, you know? That these small stories, these very small capsules are larger than life, and that I can go through that. That if this character can do it, this character's like me, I can push through. Because how can you compare? Because you can't compare movies with movies. I don't care what you tell me. But how can you compare something like the Prince of Egypt and then compare it to FNAF? Or compare FNAF to something like the Mario movie, which might be simple and made directly at children, but at least it has a story and it has charm to it. Or maybe look at something like, let's say, talking about children's movie, let's say the Mario movie, and compare it to Mulan. Or compare, like, just keep comparing and comparing and comparing. Not because you need to do what was done before, but because why is there a regression to the way we're experiencing art? Because in reality, what's going on is that we're being pushed in a market that's all it's trying to do is push you to consume as much as you can, in short as you can, in less thought of you can. Because that means that when this product's done, that means that you're waiting for the next one. Because you're not going to watch this again. You want to see the next one because you want to see the dopamine rush. It's the same thing as when Vine came out, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all that, whatever you want to say. but it's all the same. It's the same push for consume fast, consume cheaper. And these movies are not cheap to make. And a lot of those budgets just kind of go into God knows what, because the movies aren't up to snuff to the budget. And you end up questioning where's the diamond in the rough, or the small budget films that end up being larger than life and better than anything that was done at its time, because they had a vision. They were artists. They wanted to make something more than just money, you know? Because like there's a line between having fun and also doing a good product, and there's a line between making something profitable and making something that you care about. Because how can you make something like Halloween or Friday the 13th or other movies that are made independently, like Talk to Me, how do you make those movies but then also turn around and mass consume movies like this? And that's what like happened with the MCU. That's what happened with movies nowadays. They're all just fast food. They're made for you to consume them as quickly as possible, as easily as possible, and you gotta kind of search through them to find good films. They make it hard for you to find them. Oh, this is a good movie, but it was made by Netflix. Like, Netflix is the owner of it, so it's only gonna be a week out, and now you're gonna have to watch it on Netflix because it was only a week in theaters, so you missed out. And there's nothing else. So, like, I'm really afraid that the way that people are consuming movies nowadays and the way that the society is pushing is that it's gonna stop wanting to consume real art. And when I say real art, I mean like, when I say real art, I mean things that tend to try to say something. Because a lot of what's going on in the world feels like we're trying to get nothing and make it mean something without even knowing what we want to say. Like there's no time to stop and really think. It all has to be fast. So please support independent film. Please go watch movies that you don't know anything about. Like, go outside of your comfort zone, watch good movies, bad movies, but just consume different type of art. Just go outside of your comfort zone. Go and live.